Alright, so if you are using newer eMMC flasher image on the eMMC memory of the BeagleBone Black hardware, then you don't see two partitions of the eMMC. For example, if I just run the command lsblk here, now you see here mmcblk0, this is nothing but your SD card, okay, which has got two partitions, P1 and P2. And this is the onboard embedded MMC, okay, eMMC. The newer eMMC flash images of beagleboard.org, it actually creates only one partition here, mmcblk1 P1, okay, you don't see P2. And you cannot locate the MLO in this partition. Let me mount that, okay, mount dev mmcblk1 P1. Let's mount to some mount point, and here if you go inside boot, okay, you don't see MLO here. That's because the newer eMMC flasher Debian images of beagleboard.org, it actually creates only one partition, okay, mmcblk1 P1, and this is of type ext4, and it doesn't copy the boot images such as MLO and U-boot into this partition. So it actually creates 1 MB of MBR, master boot record. So, and it stores the MLO and U-boot into this MBR. Actually, there is no file system on this MBR. You cannot mount this, okay. These MLO and U-boot are hard coded onto this MBR. And now if you want to force your BeagleBone hardware to boot from SD card by default, then you have to erase this MBR, okay. So don't worry, you can recover it later, no problem. I will teach you how to do that. Now we are going to erase this MBR. Let's get back to the BeagleBone. So go to the BeagleBone command prompt here, and let's first unmount this partition, okay. Let's use the dd command to first take the snapshot of the MBR. Let's save that into some file, okay, so because we want it later to recover it. So that's why I'm going to use the dd command. Input file is equal to dev mmcblk1, and output file is equal to, let me call it as eMMCboot.img. So from here we are copying some data, that is MBR, into this file, okay. This is a local file, and the block size is equal to 1 MB we are copying, and count is equal to 1 time. Right, hit enter. Alright, so now you see here this file gets created which has the snapshot of the MBR. So now we are going to zero out the MBR. Let's again use the dd command. dt input file is equal to dev0, output file is equal to dev mmc block1, okay, and bs is equal to 1 megabytes, count is equal to 1. You zeroed out the MBR. Now let's test this. So what you do is remove the power from the BeagleBone Black hardware, okay. You just disconnect the USB cable from your computer. I'm going to do that, okay. I just disconnected the power, and after that connect the USB cable back to your computer to give power to your board, okay. Right, so now here it is. Now you see here, now you can see that the board is booting from SD card, okay. It is not trying to boot from the eMMC. So this way you can force your BeagleBone Black hardware to boot from SD card by default whenever you give power to the board. Now let's see how to recover the MBR. So let me just log in. Alright, so I'm again going to use the dd command. Input file, okay, the input file will be eMMCboot.img, so what we saved earlier, okay, and output file is equal to dev mmcblk1, and BS is equal to 1 megabytes, count is equal to 1. So we just recovered the MBR. Now let's test this, okay? Alright, so now just remove power from your BeagleBone Black hardware by disconnecting the USB cable and connect it back. Right, here it is. Now it is booting from the eMMC. Alright, so that's how you can force your board to boot from SD card by default whenever you give power to the board. Okay? So throughout this course we'll be using SD card boot, okay? So we'll not be using any contents of the eMMC. Alright, so I hope you can reproduce this at your desk, and I'll see you in the next lecture.